Namaste, dear listeners, and welcome to the Iowa channel, Astro Abi, Awareness by Abi, Oneness in Astrology and Spirituality. Dear listeners, I've got a beautiful question that have landed on my WhatsApp. Hi, Abi, please can you talk to me about my life purpose and how does astrology explain it? Now, I'm not going to just discuss how astrology explains this. I'm also going to discuss how numerology explains it. But in order to discuss these things, we first must understand what life is, in order to discuss what its purpose is. So, life is fundamentally who you and I are. We are life, we are encapsulated in this body to have a material experience. We have fallen from spirit into matter. So, because we are living in a matter driven world, we need a body to maneuver ourselves, which is the physical body which we have. So, we are not the body. Oh, the vehicle that takes us here to there is the body. And the mind is the consciousness. The mind or the consciousness is that which maneuvers the spirit. Or the spirit needs to be in control of the mind, meaning the spirit needs to be the one that is deciding what it wants to be conscious of, and the body shall follow. Now we're going a bit deep here, but in order to explain this or to answer this question, it's important to understand the differences between mind, body, and spirit, because we've got different purposes. Majority of you, dear listeners, if I ask you what is your purpose in life, the first thing you'll think is, what job do I need to do? What job must I do? Now, this is not your spiritual purpose. This is not life purpose. Your job that you do is not part of your life purpose. It's part of your purpose that is used to fulfill your desires. I like to classify this as your body purposes, your material engagements. Life purpose is beyond that. Life purpose is that which is a spirit. Your purpose here as spirit is to karmically evolve. To karmically evolve, you undergo a series of experiences and in hope that you learn from them and evolve. This is called karmic evolutionary process. And yes, the job that you do or the jobs that you do is also part of it. But it is not your life purpose to be fixed as to one particular job. The job that brings you money is not your spirit purpose. It can be your spirit purpose depending on where your planets are, where your Rahu is, where your Jupiter is, depending on your Navamsa chart, your Rasi chart. It can be your purpose. If you look at certain renowned people that have walked here and the literature is still out, like Srila Prabhupada. If you look at Sadhguru as a life part number 7, numerology. So in numerology, you can see a person's path that they will follow that will bring them satisfaction, and in return, this can also bring them money. In astrology, you can see the very same thing. You're looking at the Rasi chart, you look at the Rahu, the Ketu, the Navamsa chart, the Sun's placement, the Mars placement, the Jupiter, the Venus placements here. Look at the different houses. You can clearly see where a person's spiritual path lie or where their desires are. You can easily see whether the path that they're taking or the career that they're taking is in line with their spiritual purpose, and then you can see, okay, this makes sense. However, in most cases it's not there. It's separated. So you've got your career and you've got your spiritual desires, or your material desires, and you've got your spiritual path. Some people, based on the planets, they will be moved more towards religion. Some people, depending on their life path number, they'll be moved more towards being a spiritualist, being non-confined, or being as a non-conformist. So your life purpose is where you put your energy. Firstly, you put your energy in cars. Your life purpose is invested in cars. But that's not the purpose why you came here. Yes, your purpose is where you put your energy. But why you have come here, which is easily seen in your astrological chart, in your natal chart, we can easily see what you should be doing from a material perspective, as a job, a career, and also from a spiritual perspective, what it is, or the deity that you need to follow, or the path that you need to follow. So it's very clearly seen, depending on the day of the week that you're born, depending on the month, depending on the year, depending on the generation, depending on what dasha you're falling in, what dasha you was born in, what planets are retrograde, what planets are in Kobash mode, what planets are in trine or trining each other, what planets are in retrograde, what planets are aspecting each other. The different aspects also tells a very big story. So in astrology, in monology, in numerology, I can clearly see, okay, this is your purpose in your career, this is where you'll flourish. And when it comes to spirituality, for you to find peace, for you to feed your spirit, this is where you'll find peace. But in most cases, what your chart says you, there's only a few ways where you can find ultimate peace. And I'll discuss two. One is bhakti yoga and one is sadhana, building your relationship with your higher power, and one is dissolving the mind. Now, this is guaranteed you'll find peace here, irrespective of where your planets are. Therefore, you will always hear me talking about bhakti yoga and sadhana, because irrespective of where your planets are, you will find peace. Yes, for some individuals, it may take you longer to connect with your higher power, depending on your sun's placement, depending on your life path number, depending on your expression number, depending on your destiny number, life path destiny. So here you can see, yes, this is one way that will definitely, or two way that will definitely give you peace. But it may be difficult for some and more easier for some depending on their life path and obviously where the planets are. But fundamentally, the answer is the same. You will find peace. So your life purpose is to realize peace. Your life purpose is to realize your source and go back to source. That's your purpose. Through karmic evolutionary process, you're climbing each step going back to your higher power. But your material purpose, your kriya, in your nakshatra report, it's easily seen what type of careers you will do well in, where you'll find happiness in, joy in, because it's your passion. But that doesn't necessarily mean your life purpose. Your career is not your life purpose unless, depending on your chart, if you look at your life path number and your planets, it can be, but this is not for everybody. Right? I just used a few examples like Sadhguru and Srila Prabhupada. Right. So I hope this makes sense, dear listeners. We mustn't get confused with life path. We mustn't get confused with life purpose and confuse this here with your career, because your career is not your life's purpose in most cases. Your career is what puts food on the table and where you find a bit of joy in, and something that you could be passionate about. But it's still your choice. Krishna gives free will where you can take that passion and create something very big out of it. But will it fulfill your spirit? Will it fulfill who you really are within you? And this is debatable, because in astrology, there's certain things that will fulfill you more than your career. Sometimes maybe looking at your car, shining your car, taking it for shows brings you a lot of peace, but it doesn't bring you much money. But going and fixing computers brings you a lot of money, but you really don't like it so much. You see, but your passion is going and shining cars and putting it in shows or fixing cars, but it doesn't bring you a hell of a lot of money. But you're passionate, you feel fulfilled in your spirit that way. But that is still not enough. That is your material purpose, where you find passion in. It's not just spiritual purpose. Your spiritual purpose is looking at all, with it's including that, but more too than just that. Because spiritual journey is including every encounter, from the plants to the animals to humans to every experience. That's your spiritual journey. We are all on a spiritual journey. Spiritual journey doesn't mean we are focusing on some God sitting somewhere. We are all on a spiritual journey. It's just that most human beings don't realize it and they go downhill instead of up. Wonderful. Thank you, dear listeners. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Bol. Goodbye.